Okay, we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Gerald here. Gerald, you've had quite an amazing career. I mean, you've been able to manage one of the most iconic basketball players of all time. You've done business all around the world, and now you've written a book on your experience of doing business in China and what that was all like. And I'm excited to have you here to talk about your journey, what you've done, and get into more of what you're building right now in the basketball world. Thanks for coming on.
Well, it's great to be here, and I've seen you heard about your podcast. It's great, and uh, to be on here and to share the this incredible platform with some of the great distinguished guests you've had is an honor, and it's the first time I've actually done a podcast. Never done one all these years, and
That's
it's
exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's great. So let's uh, I don't know where to begin. It's been a long career that I've had, and I started all the way back in just after high school and college, where I had this love of sports, and I was never a good athlete. I was always like a lousy athlete. I mean, okay student, but not a good athlete. So I really got excited about the media end of the business, and I
Mm,
started off, at the college radio station. Actually, my classmate was a guy I know you've all heard of, Howard Stern. Sat next to him
mhm.
in class. I always tell people uh, that I known that Howard was going to go off and be so famous, I would have been a lot nicer to him back then. But who knew? So uh, it kind of evolved into my really getting into the broadcast and media end of the business as a college broadcaster doing sports on radio, and then eventually going off into the Far East, where I worked for 26, almost 27 years in the media business, spending time in 10 years in Hong Kong and 6 years in China, 6 years in Singapore, 5 years in Korea. So I've been all over the place. Came back to statewide in 2016. And so I met George Gervin, and I met actually in Rome, Italy. We didn't meet in Texas. We met in Rome, Italy, where I was doing a story for KMOL TV at the time. And I did a package for him on him. And we became very, very good friends after that. And I kind of took over the role of being his publicist and doing all kinds of stuff with them and traveling around the world. I always, funny story. I always say George and I hold a record that's not in the Guinness Book of Records. We've argued in more countries in the world than any two guys. But that's what friends do. They argue a lot about silly little things, and it's been a great experience. And during all that time, I was one of the first Americans to ever venture into China and do any business there in 1986. I was my first time ever there before they had all the fancy highways and all the new hotels and all that stuff. And yeah, and I kind of got involved in a lot of different areas over in the Far East. I started myself and a guy named Richard Avery were instrumental in starting the second biggest basketball in the league in the world, the China Basketball Association.
Mm.
And so from there, I started doing a lot of different little, business interactions in China. And doing business in China is a lot different than in the United States or anywhere else.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you. I don't know if you've been over there before, Ben. You've been around
I
quite a
just
bit.
was there. I was there a month ago.
How'd you like it when you were there?
I actually had a good time. It's just a very
Yeah.
different world. I mean, you meet with these
Oh,
factories that are all interconnected with each other.
yeah.
It's a lot of people making physical stuff.
Yes, and they do it quite well. And unfortunately, they do it better than we do right now. And at a cost that's very, very, very effective. Actually, all of Asia is pretty much like that right now. But what I found out in doing business in China is there's a lot of Americans and a lot of foreigners make the mistake when they go in there is they go charging in there and they think that you're going to do things the way you do in the United States. Well, you don't. No, it's a whole different process of, um,
Yeah.
it's how you hand out your business card and how you address people and how you socialize. And this is the whole different scenario of how things are done. And some things are done kind of and that, no, I'm going to say some things that they're done differently. Things that we consider unethical in this country are considered ethical in China. It's just the way it is. And so when you do business there, you play by their rules, or you don't play at all. as a lot of the big auto
Mm.
companies have learned when they've gone in there, had to give up half of their shares in their operations to Chinese partners who do not put as much in from a material standpoint as the American companies do. But the law makes them come in there and share the intellectual property that they have, as well as 50% of all the shares in the company. And they made money at it for a while. GM and all these companies, Ford made a lot of money for a while until the Chinese started to learn to make electric cars and certain items like that better than us. Because right now, I mean, China probably has. You talk about Tesla and their electric vehicles. China probably has the best electric cars in the world at the most affordable price. So that's
Mm.
part of the problem that people went in there is you had to give up a lot of your intellectual property rights and you could make money. But in the long run, it cost a lot of them. GM and Ford and everything are getting killed over in Asia right now, or in China, anyways, with their sales. They made money in the short haul, but in the long run, they're getting killed. So that's basically what my book is how to get over there and to do deals and to protect yourself. And funny part is when the book, just when I was finishing up on it, the tariff situation came about, and I said, "Oh, that's another chapter I got to add at the last minute." And then what came up was a deal, a sponsorship deal with, and I'm not going to mention them right now because in the book I leave in one chapter, chapter 35, I kind of to may have some fun. I put a teaser in there as to who the culprits are, but we kind of got the word I'm going to use. We got screwed over by a
Ah,
major footwear and apparel company there. George Gervin and I got screwed over, but by an NBA player that's currently in the NBA. He's an all-star who was affiliated with the company.
mm.
I won't tell you all the specifics. You can read all about it in chapter 35. But I left all kinds of hints in there where people can do some research and try to have some fun and find out, who we're talking about. Because I wanted to add some fun to the book as well as some history. So the book is called "The Real Rules for Foreigners Doing Business in China." I don't know
Mm.
if you've had a chance to read it yet, Ben. I'm going to send you a copy on me,
Appreciate that.
and I'll sign it too.
Thank you.
And it's a fascinating book. It's less than 100 pages. Take about a little over an hour to read. If you go to China, you can carry it around with you, and it'll help. It's kind of a guide. You can take it with you. This is the author's copy, which is stripped. This is not for resale. This is the author's copy that we get, and it's on Amazon. We'll go worldwide with it in about 2 months.
It's amazing.
And it's a good read, and it's a quick read, and it tells all about what goes on in China when you do business here. A lot of it's funny, and you'll get a kick out of it, and uh, it'll give you a rough idea. People that go in there off I'm trying to basically for $16, a person can get a good idea of what to do in China and what not to do when you go there, and make your life a lot easier. Save yourself a lot of money. Don't go hanging around there forever and spending too much money. I'm not going to tell you all the. I could be here about 2-3 hours telling you everything in the book, but it's got a lot of good stuff in it to help guys that want to go over there and do something. And what I say in the end, don't be deterred by some of the difficulties that you might get in doing business in China. There are some wonderful people there. There really are. And they'll treat you,
Yeah.
most of them treat you well. They're very hospitable. They're proud people. The food is unlike anything you've ever had. It's fantastic. And they'll treat you well. So don't get frightened. Don't get deterred. Um, I kind of feel like I went through a lot of these pains over there doing things over the years, so other people don't have to
Yeah.
go through it. So that's kind of how I feel. I kind of, went through this so you don't have to. So that's all I can say about the book. It's called "The Real Rules for Foreigners Doing Business in China." It's in Amazon. Now you can do it on Kindle, or you can get the paperback. The other project I'm involved in, as you and I have discussed before, is, and I'm not going to get into too much, Ben, as to the specifics because there's a trademark filing out there right now. We haven't gone public with it, but as you know, and you know a lot of the specifics, you're one of maybe 4 or 5 people in the whole world that I trusted to share all the specifics. Is we've
Thanks.
come up with a new basketball game called short court basketball, and I'm going to tell you right now, Ben, we'll sell a lot of shoes for you. We'll sell a lot of shoes for you with this basketball game, and basically, I've been involved in the game for 40 some odd years with George and with everybody. And as an announcer, I broadcasted Tom McCarthy and I did the Asia basketball games for several years on Star TV over in Asia. And I've been to I don't know how many NBA games and seen how many games on TV. But one thing about the game that always frustrated me is one, it goes on too long. I mean, with all the timeouts, the stoppages, you got 48 minutes of clock with all the stops and then the halftime, and so you'd have NBA games going 2.5, 3 hours. And then the problem with the modern day game, even 3-on-3, it's not inclusive. Older people can't play. I mean, really, you can't see 70, 80-year-old guys out there playing full court basketball. They're going to either drop dead or they're going to just quit or get frustrated, and it's not all inclusive. But if you look at, and I tell them what short court basketball, without me getting into too much specifics and giving it all away, is I tell people the good analogy, Ben, you and I have discussed this, is that short court basketball is going to be to basketball what pickleball is to tennis. It's all inclusive. Older people can play. We have 3 different teams. You're going to have all male teams. You're going to have all female teams and co-ed team with short court basketball. There's only one other real co-ed sport in the world I can think of. And when I say co-ed, I mean where male and female actually pass the ball to each other and exchange the instrument. I mean, they talk about tennis being co-ed with mixed doubles. Well, you're not really exchanging. You're not passing the ball to another female player, a female player to a male player. And same thing with swimming or track and field. But the only other co-ed sport I can think of is softball, where the male and female are exchanging the ball. Well, short court basketball is actually going to be a true co-ed sport, a true co-ed division. And you'll be able to play a whole game, knock a whole game off in like 1 hour. And that's one thing that has made. I'm not what do they call the multiple arts boxing type stuff. MMF is it called? Where guys with the short gloves where they're fighting 3 rounds and hitting each other. You know what I'm talking about? Mixed martial arts. That's what it's called.
Yeah, MMA.
Yeah, MMA, right. A lot of guys are into that. I'm not into it because I think it's just too violent, and I think boxing is about as far as you could go. But that MMA is very, very violent. I really don't. I'm glad my kids don't really get into it or watch it. But what has made it successful is a whole match is over in maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If it goes the whole distance. Most of them don't go the distance. So, and it's made it popular because a good boxing match will go. Now it's 12 rounds. I know in the old days when I was younger, it was 15 rounds. And that's, it'd go on forever. You wouldn't see, you'd go and get a few rounds where guys would be dancing around and throwing a few punches. And the matches just lasted too long. Well, this MMA is just, it's what's made it really popular is it's action, fast action, hard-hitting action, and quick. Well, short court is kind of the same way. It's a lot of action, a lot of great movement, and it doesn't go on forever. And some of the rules we have are incredible. People are going to love them. I'm not going to tell you what they are real quick. You and I have discussed it, but it's very, very exciting. And that's one of the things. And the timing is real good because George has just left the Big Three. He's retired from the Big Three, which is run by Ice Cube, and who was a good friend of George's, and another guy named Jeff Quatinitz. Jeff's a good person. So and we're not competing directly with them, which is great because it's 3 players. Where I'll tell you one secret. I'll tell you about short court. Short court is 4 players on each team. With Big Three and FIBA, it's 3-on-3. We're four people, and the court is smaller than regulation basketball. That's
Mm.
another secret I'll tell you about that one without giving the house away. So I'm involved in that project. Another thing we've got going on is we're attempting to build a theme park in Austin, Texas, a transportation theme park called Texas Wow. So we're out trying to raise all kinds of money to do that. That's another whole project, and the book, and short court, and also a little sports agency that we run called Gervin Global Management. With that,
Mm.
our chairman is George. He's more of the figurehead. Most of the work is done by me. Uh, so for a guy my age, I'm involved in an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, a guy my age, retired. I'm doing the kind of work of a 25-year-old Ben Weiss. At my age, I still kind of summit the energy every now and then, to get this stuff done. So and that's why I like being around young guys like you, because young guys like you, I look back and I say, golly, I wish when I was 25 I had the talent that Ben Weiss has, or if I only had the talent and the energy back then that he has now at 25. And my kids are 14,
Doing
so
great.
be honest. What's that?
You're doing great.
Yeah,
You're doing great.
yeah, I'm hanging in there, Ben, and I might one day I'm going to send my two boys over to hang out with you for a while. I'm going to learn from you. They're 14-year-old kids, and I say this is what I want you to be at age 25 a little bit. It's kind of be as aggressive and be smart and be as as outgoing and as Ben is. Because what you do, Ben, what you and I are involved in, it's not an easy business. It really isn't. And we're both. I call you and I there's a huge difference in your age and mine. But one thing we have in common, we both got unique products and we're both disruptors. We're
Yeah.
disruptors. You took a look at the industry and you said, why not me? Why can't we have a shoe, a custom made shoe for the average Joe on the street?
Right.
And I took it, and why can't we have a basketball game that's all inclusive for everybody? So we're both disruptors. And that's the first thing that I got excited about reading about you, because I did a lot of reading on you, Ben, a lot of studying. I know you almost as well as your mom and dad does, probably. But is I love the fact that you're a disruptor. We're both disruptors, and we're not afraid to. You can go through life either accepting the status quo and not looking for change and saying maybe I can make a buck. I never made much money in basketball. I really, really didn't, because I really didn't. I wasn't all that excited about the business and about the agents that are in it. Because I'll tell you right now, and I don't care if they get upset about what I have to say, is I don't know who irritates me more in basketball or professional sports: coaches, GMs, or agents. I don't
Mm.
know which one I just like the most, but I made up my mind a long time ago. I didn't want to be like those people. I didn't want to be like
Yeah.
them, and that's why George and I stayed together for so long, because
Mm.
we didn't we didn't we didn't want to we didn't want to get to that situation where. Can you excuse me 1 second?
Yeah,
I
sure.
need to grab something real quick.
No problem.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. Gerald,
Yep.
how did you meet George? How did this relationship
Oh,
form?
we actually met in Rome, Italy. Um, I'm trying to remember what year it was we met. It was, I believe it was 19, oh gosh, just wait, I'm trying to think real quick. I think about 1992. We met in Rome, Italy. And it's weird because we both were in the same town, but we never met there. And it's craziest thing was I was assigned, I was working over in London, and I called over into KMOL TV, and I said, "Hey, George is over here. Why don't you let me do a story on him? I'm only a couple hours away from London to Rome." And they said, "Hey, that's a great idea." So I flew over to Rome and met him there, and met him and his wife Joyce. Joyce is one of my best friends in the world. In fact, I actually like Joyce more than I like him. I always tell him that. And he gets mad at me sometimes. We have arguments, and she'll take my side. He'll get mad at me. But anyways, and we became friends after that. We never even met in Texas, and it kind of evolved into that. And I started handling a lot of stuff for him, and he started helping me a lot. And we're like family. We're really like family. I mean, with whenever I need something, I'll call him up. He always comes through for me, and if he needs something, I come through for him. And we don't always look at. I think one thing that helped us a lot is in life. A lot of times, Ben, friends and people look for the material end of what can this guy do for me? What can he make for me for money wise? And George and I were never like that. In fact, his nickname is Ice, and I've never ever referred to him as Ice or call it. And I think 95% of all our conversations we've ever had, does not concern basketball. It's everything else
Really?
about life, and about life, and about the Bible, and everything. But George is a devout Jehovah's Witness,
Mm,
and he doesn't just talk to talk; he practices it. Uh,
mm.
I'm more of a non-denominational Christian. I mean, I'm Catholic, and there are certain things I believe about Catholicism, and there's certain things I strongly believe about the Jewish faith, and I'm kind of a freelancer when it comes to that. I know I believe in God, so I'm really a freelancer. I mean, I've been to temple. I mean, I've got a lot. I grew up. I went to the college I went to was Boston University. We call it the University of Long Island at Boston because all my
Nah.
friends there that I grew up with were Jewish. I think to this day I've got more Jewish friends than anybody. But so I'm a freelancer really. It comes to religion, and George when I look where he came from years ago, when he was in that era of players, going out and having problems, and getting drunk and getting high on dope, and it was just the era they went through. Where he came from, that era, and where he is today, is just amazing. I mean, I feel like I played a small part in it. Now he'll tell you I played a large part, but to me, I think I played a small part in it. We've been together through a lot, and there's genuine love there. I mean, I'd dive in front of a bullet for him, and he'd do the same for me. And that's the friendship. But my son, I named after him. My son is Gervin Barisano. He's the only guy in the world with the first name Gervin.
Ah,
I had a son who's twin boys, 14 is Thomas. So uh, it's a special relationship, and I value the relationship a lot more than any money I've ever made. With him, or any money I'll make in the future. And that's what I think all of us have to look at, Ben, is with each other. Instead of looking at first, how much can I make from my friendship or my association with Ben Weiss, or how much can Ben make from Jerry Barisano? I think it needs to be how much can we enhance each other's lives in what we do. And maybe I can maybe do a tiny contribution to help and make other people making their lives a bit better. But one thing they can do is look at my mistakes and screw ups and say, I don't want to do that again. Learn by my mistakes, or even some of the positive stuff too. But that's, I think, what we need to start thinking about and looking about in life. There isn't enough of that. It's always about the material end. And the material end is important. I mean, I'm 72 years old right now, and I'm still catching up to all the mistakes that I made. But I'm lucky because I got young guys out there like you that inspire me and keep me going. And short court is going to be a great thing. I hope you and I can work together on it. And I know there's a gentleman. I don't want to mention any names or anything like that right now, but there is a guy, a company out there that we're going to give first crack at, first shot, and
okay.
we'll give them the first. Let them be first in line, and if they want to join us, they'll make a bunch of money, and we'll sell a ton of shoes. Boy, I'm dying to get a pair of your shoes, man. To be honest with you, I want to order a pair right now.
Gotta get you
So,
one for sure.
well, I mean, it's just what you're doing. I think is great, and the particular guys out in the eastern part of the United States. I'm not going to mention who they are, but we're going to give them first shot, and they'll make a bunch of money from us, and we'll work hard for them if we get the deal. But that's something you and I are going to talk about later. But I think what you're doing is fantastic, and when I read about it online, I was thinking about when Grant Hill had his shoes made. I don't know if you know how the pros get their shoes made. They put their foot in plaster, and they
Yeah.
sit there about
Molded.
15, 20 minutes, and they cut it out. And and I was working for Feeler at the time, and I actually took his mold and took it home with me, and it was worth a lot of money. If you had like LeBron James original mold from a shoe, what would that be worth? So I took it home, and they were saying, Jesus, it was in Marblehead, Massachusetts. And Rui, the guy named Rui, I forget Rui's last name, was looking for that mold. John, the mold disappeared. After about 2 weeks, I felt guilty. And I says, guys, I got the mold. I'm going to turn it back in. Uh, but I thought about that, and I say, wow, if you could do that with an average guy on the street or a basketball player, and have them have their own shoes. What will people pay for that? To have that shoe molded to their foot. Uh, and it wasn't even the looks won't even count that much. It's just the fact that you have something so unique, and that's why I thought about first guy I want to go to with short court basketball when you get it going is Ben with a short court shoe. Yeah, I think it'd be great. Um,
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to play basketball against you, Ben. You're 25 and I'm 72, and
Beat
I know
you.
you're in shape, and you'll give me a whooping. You'll give me a whooping. That's not going to happen. Uh, but anyway, so this is basically what I'm trying to say is that, and I hope that I can inspire a few people out there, is that when you're in business, anything that you do, don't always look at money. Look at the amount of people, the people that you can have a positive influence on. Who can I motivate to do better? Uh, and don't give up. Man, I've fallen on my face bent so many times and overseas and in the U.S. and got knocked down, and you get your heart broken, and you just got to pick yourself up and keep on going. And the people that love you are going to say, hey, let me help you back up, man. I love you. You're great the way you are, despite all your faults and everything that goes wrong. And you're going to find that, Ben, in everything you do. Because, man,
Yeah.
you're only 25. You got a long way to go. I mean, and you'll find that you're going to get your heart broken sometimes, and but you're going to fail, and you're going to be on that phone trying to get a deal done and raise some money, and you get frustrated. And why don't they see what I see? And then one day you get that surprise. You get that surprise call one day and say, "Hey, Ben, we want in." And that's how it happens. It's always when you least expect it. So
Yeah.
all I tell people is don't give up. Don't quit. Don't give
The
up.
message.
That's the message I have for people, and show some love to people you care about, and things will work out for you. Even
I
when you
agree.
get old, and you get old and you start venturing into areas that should be a young man's game, that have heart and just don't give up. Don't give up. So, and that's what I'll tell you too, Ben. You know, um, don't give up. You're going to have some frustrating days in there, and just don't give up, man. And remember when you are successful, and I know you're going to be successful, Ben. Don't forget the people that helped you get there.
Right.
Your parents and your friends, and because your parents, they just want to see you be successful, Ben. They don't care about money or anything you might give them. They just want their son to do well,
Mhm.
and that's just don't forget them. Don't forget the people that helped you and the people that inspired you. And that's all I can say is I know one thing. I'm starting to do okay, and I'm not going to forget my older brother James. It's the old song. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. Well, that's me. I've
Mhm.
been awfully heavy on his shoulders for a long time. And so, and my cousin Mark Cummings, who's been like the my crutch to help me out quite a bit when I needed help. Don't forget the people that helped you get there. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. Um,
It's a good
you're very
message.
fortunate. You got both of your parents around right now. I wish my parents were here, man. I miss them. So honor them and honor your friends, and don't forget those that helped you, Ben. Okay,
Sounds
and
good.
that's about it. I don't know what
Cool.
else. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think that's good, Jerry. I appreciate you taking the time on doing this. I think you've had a pretty amazing adventure. adventurous life, so far, and it's great that you're still building these, interesting projects today. Short court has a lot of potential, um, and it's good that you've decided to give back and write a book on this. And people should definitely check out what you've written and learn a bit more about how to do business, overseas in an entirely different territory. And I'm excited to see what's to come next and what you'll build in the future. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thank you, Ben. And I just want to tell you that um, we have had several people from the NBA look at short court and say they all say it's going to be a huge success. But I want to thank you for getting me on this podcast. I've enjoyed it. The fastest 30 minutes I can ever recall. So thank you very, very much, Ben. And I wish you the best of luck. And I look forward to working with you in the future.